Hello everyone, my name is Hassan Sufi and I'm a Greenhouse Scholars, alumnus class of 2017. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Your support at events like these go a long way in helping low-income, high-achieving students succeed. I want to tell you a little bit about myself and why Greenhouse Scholars has been instrumental in my own success. I was born in a small refugee camp just outside of Mombasa, Kenya, along with my twin brother and little sister. My family fled the civil war that raged in Somalia, which had just started a few years prior. Our time in the first refugee camp was brief, as we had to flee yet again when the camp was burned to the ground. The conditions in the camp were cramped and disease was commonplace. My twin and I contracted malaria after having just turned 1. Though neither of us succumbed to the disease. We sought asylum from many different countries to free ourselves from the mire of desperation that was life in the camp. We spent 2 years in the second camp before getting the news that one of our applications had been accepted. In September of '97, my family came to the land of opportunity. We moved to Denver, Colorado. Though living in better conditions than our time in the refugee camp, my family was still poor. My mother and father worked to provide for myself, my brother, and my sister. My father worked as a cab driver when he worked at all. My mother worked in an assisted living facility. When my father quit his job, never to hold one during his time with us, my mother became the sole breadwinner of the family. It was not uncommon for my mom to sleep at her place of work so that she could work more hours. I dreaded the nights that she did not return. For my father was mentally and physically abusive since as early as I can remember. We were subjected to beatings via fist or belts or locked in our rooms whenever his temper flared. My father was eventually removed from my life during my sister's 15th birthday after he tried attacking her, and my twin and I were forced to defend her. At the age of 16, I find myself thrust into a position of responsibility as I filled the role of head of the family. I supported them with my meager earnings, working at the local amusement park, all the while still going to school. I sent money to my grandparents back in Somalia, and consoled my mother when my sister was admitted into a mental hospital, unable to handle the stress of my parents' separation. Following this hardship, I was stubborn, relentless, and focused. I aced my classes at Venture Prep High School and graduated as valedictorian with a 4.2 GPA. All while establishing my school's ultimate Frisbee team, volunteering for the Denver Mayor's Youth Commission, and working to support my family. This hard work paid off when I was admitted into Brown University on a full ride scholarship. While I was excited to start my life as a college student, I was also worried. My parents did not have the opportunity to finish high school, let alone attend college. I knew that unlike many of my peers, I would not have the financial or experiential support needed to be successful. This is why I consider myself very lucky to have found a program like Greenhouse Scholars. That first summer symposium, where current scholars gathered, was a hallmark experience for me. I met a group of people who had experienced and overcome hardship in their lives like I had. People who were working to pull themselves out of the cycle of poverty that many low-income students come from. Most importantly, I found a group of people I could confide in, friendships that would last a lifetime. Some of my favorite moments from the symposium include bonding with the other scholars with tense games of Mafia, or when I cathartically yelled my frustrations into the wind with 2 other scholars, Edna and Tomas, as I worked through some buried emotions. Mentorship is another aspect of the scholarship that I am grateful for. Having someone who has already gone through university and could answer my questions my family could not was invaluable. Although Paul may not be here tonight, I want to thank him for helping me through a difficult first year and being a fountain of knowledge and advice. My interest in computers began when I was just 10 years old. My twin and I would eagerly spend our time at an after-school program where they would teach us to type, and afterward allowed us to use the internet. I remember how excited we both were to make our first email addresses, though at the time we only sent emails to each other. I took this interest in computers and applied it to studying computer science at Brown University. My first year in the department was a difficult one. By the end of the year, I was racked with self-doubt and unsure if I wanted to continue. This changed after Greenhouse Scholars helped me land a summer software development internship with Zeo Group.
That's right.
That internship reaffirmed that I still liked software development and that I was good at it too. I came back my sophomore year to Brown with a new outlook and went on to ace all my classes in my major that year. As someone who spent the latter half of his high school years working, I cannot emphasize enough just how important having that extra time is to a college student. The tuition assistance Greenhouse Scholars provides was the reason I did not have to work during my time at Brown. This freed me up to study more when I needed to, but to also be a college student. It allowed me to pursue my interest in Taekwondo, where I went on to win medals for Brown at both the local and national levels. I've already told some of you stories from my first national tournament where I worked hard to put my foot on my opponent's face, but I'll save those details for later. Flex funding, which allows students to apply for grants for life-changing experiences that are essential to a full college experience, but that are not included in the full cost of tuition, gave me the extra money necessary to study abroad at the University of Bologna for a semester of my junior year at Brown. Going to Italy had been a dream of mine since my second year of high school, and I'm grateful to say that I was able to fulfill that dream. While my Italian has gotten a bit rusty since then, memories such as spending Easter with my language partner's family will always be with me. While the program puts us on track to chase our dreams, it also puts an emphasis on giving back. My focus has been around helping underrepresented minority students do well in computer science. Since first joining the department my freshman year at Brown, it became clear that students who looked like me were a rarity. As I looked around my introductory computer science class, I saw a handful of underrepresented minority students among the sea of 300 faces attending lecture. This ratio did not get better, as I would not see many of those same students by the end of the semester. The situation in industry was more of the same, though it wasn't made clear to me until I realized I was the only black intern among my 70 peers. I became tired of losing my peers after only a semester or two, and decided that I need to get more involved in helping retain underrepresented minority students in computer science. I became a teaching assistant to write this. I served as an example to Brown that students like me can and do succeed in computer science. Several of my students later told me how they appreciated having a teaching assistant who looks like them. Simply joining the department was not enough though, for I was unable to reach those who were tentative about choosing computer science as their major. In order to better reach the students, the second thing I did was join a student group to serve as a mentor to freshmen and sophomore students interested in pursuing computer science as a major. During my time as a mentor, I met with my mentees bi-weekly for an hour to discuss their classes, both in the computer science department and out, plan for the next semester, as well as answering general questions about life as a student. While supporting students interested in computer science at university is a focus of mine, I believe getting more underrepresented minority students to matriculate at and graduate from universities is just as important. This morning, I gave a speech to the students of my middle school, Whittier K-8. I felt the need to give back to the school and teachers that sparked the joy of learning in me. I spoke to the students who looked just like me about being in their shoes only a handful of years ago. I told them to think of what they want to do with their lives and how getting an education would help them achieve those goals. Though they did not know it yet, I told them of how they are supported and there is a whole community of people who want to see them succeed. Greenhouse Scholars is effective because it uses a holistic approach to help low-income students like myself succeed. Greenhouse Scholars has given me a community of peers, a mentor, professional experiences, and time here to focus on my schoolwork that I would not have had otherwise. I would not be where I am today were it not for Greenhouse Scholars. Today, I'm proud to say that I am a software engineer working at Microsoft Research in Seattle. I'm putting my computer science degree to use, working on the operating systems and technology group on a project called Azure Sphere. I wake up each day and get to work on interesting problems with great teammates, learning new things all the while. I've come a long way from sending emails to my twin in that camp computer lab so many years ago. Though the work may be different from when I was 10, my passion for computers has not abated. In the spirit of paying it forward, I recently made a $1,000 donation to give back to the organization that gave me so much. I ask that you help Greenhouse Scholars and me uplift the next generation of low-income students to cultivate extraordinary leaders to change the lives of low-income families and communities. Again, thank you so much for being here this evening. It means a lot to me and our community.